This is your weekend market recap for Friday, March 18th, 2022. Let's go. This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent, and this is my stock, Bitcoin, gold, and silver daily market recaps. Please subscribe if you like what you see. Thank you.
This is Dan Max at EXP Realty, aka the Trading Agent. This is your weekend market recap for Friday, March 18th, 2022. Let's get into it. As always, start off in the Discord room. If you have questions, check out the Discord room. The link is in the description below of this video. Pretty easy to get in here. And yeah, talking about the markets today, a lot of stuff going on. People posting about their trades, what they're thinking. Posting the Stock Traders Almanac for next week. You see there are some bearish days in March, typically after OPEX. Let's see what happens here. I mean, the market in itself had a impressively straight up week. I mean, it opened at the lows, closed at the highs. I did not expect that for OPEX, but I mean, we did see some bullishness expected because of the positioning of the market going into it. We thought it might bounce. Honestly, thought it'd go lower first, but hey, it happens. Next, Twitter. If you're not a follower on Twitter, check out the Twitter, posting the trades live as I'm going through them, analyzing. Some will be right, some will be wrong, but at least you'll know the levels to get in, get out if you're right or wrong. On that note, let's get into Bitcoin. Yeah, broke the downtrend. Price correction. Now you have what I consider a time correction. Can't get over the VAP high 45,000. Seems to be holding 35,000. At this point, this is why trading can be hard in the sense that it can go sideways for as long as it needs to. But keep in mind in the back of your head, man, if 30,000 hits, that's actually to me the best level to buy. That's where I would be looking for the more confirmation. I know you have some volume nodes on the pop, but and if things get back to 30,000, I think that's a screaming buy. All right, charts are loaded. Let's get into this TLT. Now, this is a trade that we talked about earlier in the week. Now, I want people to realize I'm not a contrarian because I'm a contrarian in the sense that I just want to do what everyone else is, the opposite of what everyone else is doing. The Feds were meeting this week. We talked about this a million times. They're anticipating multiple rate hikes. They only did 1/4 point rate hike. Everyone was thinking 50, maybe even 75 basis points, which would be 2 or 3 1/4 point rate hikes. You broke below the low with some gaps. You can see that we have this big gap. Me as a contrarian knowing, this is a big down move. The market priced in 75 basis points. We only got 25. Rate cut or rate hike, apologize. Now what's happening? Bonds are being bought. Rates are going lower. We talked about buying it at 131 on Wednesday during the extreme. We talked about next, if you check out the Twitter, said once you get over 133, which I think you guys can see. I mean, let's pull it. Yeah, let's pull up the hourly. Since it's the weekend recap, you can see pretty clearly. The key was getting over and closing over 133. I mean, you could see very clearly here that it got over it, but and again, remember the hourly. I'm thinking of the daily. I want the daily to close, but I'm showing you the hourly just so you can see it. See how 133 is the top of all these ranges, and then you look at the daily and you can see there's that candle, 4 candles with highs around 133 and change. And you can add the wicks in if you want, whatever. I mean, you're arguing over points at this, little bits and pieces at this point. And when you see something like this, it's a 4-day range. Think of it as a great opportunity. So if we bought here at the 131, what did we say? You got to get over 133 to be good. Closed over it. I think the trade is going. I think we're good. We bought at or near the lows. I think this is a multiple novice gap, kind of an extension to end the move down. Check out the monthly. We're at the 100 month. There's a reason why I like bonds. And has nothing to do with inflation. It's just technicals oversold. Dollar. We've talked about this in the sense that the volatility in the dollar is really all that matters. It's not acting volatile. Hit resistance, backed off, hit the 20-day, popped. Nothing much to say. VIX termination during OPEX. Wow. I mean, you just had 1 day of a pop, then took the VIX from 34 to 24, basically. Broke my little trend line here. I mean, yeah, that's a big move down fast. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if a pop in the VIX next week at some point. meaning our friend SPY, which did break the downtrend. Volume's not great, but 200 day maybe. This is pull up the weekly. Like, check this out, y'all. I mean, that's a big up week. It's a big up week. Last time we had like an up week that size, you had a red hammer, you had a doji, you had a little exhaustion and pop back. I mean, the size of this week's movement, I don't know correlates to the anything other than the amount of rumors that peace is breaking out. But what's ironic is Putin is doing, I mean, he's doing a rally for war last night. So I don't know. Let's keep the politics out of it. But let's just say that we all hope war is not going to increase, in the sense that we hope peace breaks out at some point. But it just is what it is at this point, you know. Market seems to dig the rumors of peace, which is interesting because you filled the gap on the FOMC day, and then that's impressive. I tried to take some shorts and took little small change losses. Keep in mind, I'm not an all or nothing trading, so when I got into my shorts, they were the smallest position possible because they were feeler bets. Luckily, I got stopped out and had a little bit of luck this AM, but not a great trade. And this is the thing about sometimes the market and being wrong is, imagine if you shorted the 20-day and you just didn't have a stop. You got reamed. That's just how trading is. Have stops. Qs, 50-day, double bottom. Not surprised it's bouncing. We've talked about it. We said, hey, you know, when you drop, the first drop, even on the monthly, if you think the bear market is coming, is the first drop is not the most lucrative. It's the next, it's the lower high or the retest that turns into meltdown, and you'll see it on individual names. IWM, I sold some today, or I sold all of the rest of my position, which kind of regretting. I thought the trend line would not break. Guess what? This guy is wrong, but we got up to 207. I mean, swing points, trend lines are all relative. We'll see what happens next week. It's tough to be bearish with this action, but everybody's bearish at times. And in the sense that, like, if you look at the headlines, market climbs the wall of worry. You know, maybe there is a rumor of peace. How real is it? We will see. Gold, absolutely worthless the last couple days. We talked about buying in the 178 to 176 range if you could get it. Got over 20-day, chopped around, pin action, pulled it under 180. We could get into pin action, but if you need, get in to the Discord room. We were talking about this recently. Give me 3 seconds to scroll up, and you will see that we have a video on pin action somewhere. Yep, options expiration, pin action. What is it and why does it matter? I would recommend watching that video if you don't know what I'm talking about. Options expiration is an important event in the market. Gold for next week, what do you want to see? I just want to see, again, like that monthly candle is hilarious. The weekly looks like a left-right combo, but keep in mind we are back testing that trend line. I talked about it. It's not, I apologize, it's not on the daily, but it is there on the weekly. And maybe here, I'll see, let's zoom out to show why it's a reference. Held here, held here, held here, held here, held, and then failed. It's still there though, but look at that. It's holding on the backside now. Trend lines aren't always that simple. That's why sometimes when people are like, oh, you got way too many lines, you never know when that line that once was powerful will be powerful again. Silver, man, could you not pin this any closer to 23? I mean, it is just ridiculous. We were talking about it at the end. I was like, you could sell puts, I think, for however period of time frame out you want. If you sold, say, the 22 puts and you could collect anything near 50 cents to $1, I would consider that free money. I mean, again, at this point, 20-day consolidation, pin action keeps it stuck for the week. Keep in mind, metals expirations, futures contracts. There's a lot going on at the end of quarters. If you look at the last end of quarter, what did you see? So a pop and then chop and then retest the following month. Now, what we get is this, you know, is this like the chop before the drop? I don't know. You have this gap down. I think this is more of like this is like here, repeat here, if that makes sense. Let me just draw a stupid box there and there. This is kind of like the repeating pattern of end of quarter crap. So we'll see how it all plays out. I mean, again, it might seem like this is all just trying to guess, but it is, everything is a guess. It's a probability game. Again, if you see this 200-day 0.382 22s hit, you call me, you call your family, you call when you tell them buy some damn silver, because it is at a certain point becoming a game within a game that this will be much higher in time. I could see $100 an ounce in the next, I don't know, I'd say this decade. Let's just say that. So if you do the math, if you want to buy something in the 20s and it's going to be at 100, do you care if you bought it 22, 23, 24, 21? Probably not. GDX held the 20-day. We talked about that. Nice bounce. Filled the gap, chopping. Not much to say on it. If you bought Nugget, we talked about it yesterday. If you really wanted to, you could sell covered calls. If you sold, say, 70, like the 70 strike price calls, you're feeling pretty happy because you kept all that money. GDXJ, same kind of thing. Just chopping, holding up pretty tight. I mean, again, I can show the monthlies. But look at, I mean, it looks like we're breaking out of these wedges. Keep that in mind. GDX, I'll just, for shits and giggles, same thing. But this one actually broke it. So, is what it is. Let's get into some of those names. AG, we talked about mid-14s probably being resistance. Yeah, it's holding high, but high and tight. I tell people, like, when you hit resistance zone, you don't want to do this. You want to chop and hold up high. That's a hit and fail. We don't know if it's a hit and fail yet, but holding up today was a good sign. That's the first sign you can really take from it. Hope that helps. AEM. AEM. I don't know why that always just rolls off the tongue like that. Yeah, nice work, Eric, selling calls. I mean, you could see there's a congestion zone up here. Going into OPEX, not surprised. I mean, look at the doji on a Friday. I mean, this shit is so controlled. I wish people understood how I know that. You just trust me. If you don't want to trust me, I don't care. PAAS, we're breaking the downtrend, holding high and tight. It's like, wow, they really want to hold this thing up before it goes, potentially. That's how I look at it. It looks good. Let's get into the names of that. These three commodity names that are important to me. X, we talked about taking profits at 34 here. It broke over it, and then yesterday they had earnings guidance. They guided down. Look at the close. The volume went nuts. This thing went from 31 to 33. Somebody was buying. High and tight, as I've said, is fine. Be aware we are coming into the monthly downtrend. If this trend breaks, all shorts are off. You can start buying more dips and selling rips. You could play this. I'm not saying it's going to go to 100 next week, but it could be one of those things where over the course of, say, this is like the 2003 bottom, you go up, you go 10 to 30 to 40, you pull back 13 points, you go from 25 up to 60, you pull back, you go from 29 up to 140, 50, 60, 80, 200. I mean, that's the kind of shit. Like, if this is breaking the monthly downtrend, this is going to mean months of partying on X. And if you don't want to party on X, well, maybe you go to VALE. Here's another one that we're going to talking about partying on. Again, you broke the monthly downtrend. This thing is nice. Very nice. I mean, I'd like to see 25. I've got a lot of interest in this stock, meaning you know it. We are buying this pullback at 17. I've got options. I've got stock. And I'm happy about it. If you would have bought it at 17, we closed at 19. That's 10% off the lows. You don't have to thank me. Thank yourself for being able to execute this, because guess what? If you couldn't, sorry. CCJ, another one that we like. Let's zoom out and see where it's coming from. Oh, look at that. You have broken the downtrend. Choppy. I mean, could this thing get back into the 50s? I mean, if this is a real bull market, keep in mind, like the last time it went from a bull, it went from like split. Keep in mind, there's splits here. So it wasn't at $1. It went from $1 to 56 splits wise. It is a great percentage. Well, imagine if it goes from 5 to 100 or 5 to 200. Are you going to be pissed at me? The only reason you should be is if you didn't own it or trade it or pay attention. Here we go. 20-day holding. Mosaic, I talked about this. I'm kicking myself. Really wanted to see mid-50s, didn't get it. Right back to the highs. CF, again, foot in my mouth or whatever, boot to the face. Really wanted to see a double bottom or a retest of this trend line. You got one test at 86, and now you're at 95. Relative strength is showing. All right, let's get into tech. The laggards that were due to bounce. AMD. Keep in mind, lower, all these tech stocks are like down here. They're not, I mean, again, when you look at X, you see, oh, look, higher highs, higher lows, AMD, and all these tech names. You're going to see, ooh, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. But now you have a base bottom, hits the 200-day. Is there a trade here? Clearly there was. The 20-month, if you don't zoom out and ever look at the monthly, weekly charts, you are missing out on some of the biggest reasons why the market moves. And people who are looking at the bigger time frames are the pros. Only the Joes are looking at the 10-minute all day going, what happens? What's going to happen here? No, they don't think like that. Don't be that guy or gal. Yeah, I guess get over the 200-day, you're breaking the downtrend. I could see 130. Not a bad trade, especially if you are you're into that. You know, if you're into tech, that's your thing. Apple, we talked about holding channel low. Seems obvious. Channel high, 167. I would watch the confluence of all these moving averages. I'll just bottom line circle it for you. At some point next week, those will all come together at that point. How they act there will tell you exactly what you need to know. Good old micro strategy. We identified the channel low, and look at that. You're back at channel high. Congratulations. Again, I'm not trading these things, but I give the blessings of the technicals, meaning that my opinion don't matter. I will be wrong at times. Not that I was shorting these, but what is very obvious is that the technicals matter. And when you make a higher low at the trend line and you hold, you see 360, you see 460 a week later in the week. It's all possible. Again, I mean, that's where my beliefs never are never stronger than what the market's doing. Like, I might believe something, but guess what? My goal is to do what the market's doing, not to have beliefs. You know, it's like picking I don't know what the best way to say this is. It's like having a belief system that you think is infallible, when the reality is the person that is infallible is the market. You have to do what the market's doing. Our belief systems are just kind of random, in the sense that, yeah, you might think this is going to happen, but it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what I think. It doesn't matter what the person on the other end of this microphone listening thinks. You do what the market's doing. That's how you get paid, not from having opinions. You can have opinions, but let the market confirm them. Roblox. We talked about this thing just being a total piece of, and you hit the channel lows, and look at that, from 36 to 49. Now, these are all great trades. Am I in them? No. However, kudos to those who are watching. I mean, if you're watching these videos and you're seeing this stuff, and these are stocks you trade and you know them well enough and you want to, hey man, high five. Nice work. That's a great trade. 39 or whatever. No, 36 to 49. Man, that's awesome. Congratulations. Tesla. Talked about this one. Made a higher low. Better watch out, because it's ultimately, what did we say? You're hitting the 20-month. Oh, again, you don't zoom out and look at the monthly charts. Well, that's your problem, because you would have seen the 20-month and then a retest of a higher low. This would have been cause concern, because again, if you understand 2-day ranges, multiple day ranges, you look at this candle, you say, okay, is this the bottom? Not sure. Well, that's a professional little baby gap, and look what happens. You go from 800 to 900. That's 100 points. Golf clap. Nice work. That's the kind of stuff you can identify if you have the time. Again, I can't look at everything all the time, and I just don't. But if you come to the Discord room, you have a question, and you're like, hey, I watched this in the video, and what do you think? And it shouldn't be what I think. It should be very obvious. It should be confirmed. PENN, we talked about this holding up, maybe head and shoulders bottom, maybe March Madness, gambling stocks. Yep. UTHR. I like this name, but guess what? It pulled back today. You know, we said watch. Let's just, here, let me just box it. Let me just put this in a bow and box it up for you. Said once you clear this area, and this candle was the confirmation day. Look, even got a back test. This stock is, again, the market cap of this thing allows this thing to be volatile. If you bought at 176, 185, you're pulling back. It still looks good. It's over the, what is it over? It's over the 20-day. Can't be that bearish on it. EXPI, pinned to 25. Nice work. We've said about this a million times. If you can buy this thing near 22, you should buy it and have a stop. Because I'm not saying it's going to 90, but I think at 25, would you be happy if it ran up to 40? What if it ran up to 55? Would you be happy with that? I think so. And you had $1, $2 stop. Those are the kind of trades that I drool over and dream about. Keep in mind, I have, and for full disclosure, I have EXP stock. I do own it. Yeah, XOP. Let's end it with the oil names as usual. 113. We talked about it. Once you broke out, professional gap, closed higher. Peaked on some of the war oil prices. You backed off. Talked about the 20-day. Now you're back up at the highs. I ultimately think this is probably going to get to the 140s. You can see my amazing drawings of circles of resistance, 100-day in this zone. Just keep it simple. I hope this helps. Ending on ExxonMobil, I do not chase, and I've said I would like to see this in the blue zone. If it's not in the blue zone, I will not buy it. Just keep that in mind. I hope everybody had a great trading week. I know I did. I know the people in the Discord room learned a lot. I know we definitely did well because we identified trades that worked out. And again, the 3 easiest trades I thought for the week were, we can recap them. Were the TLT buys. You had a 4-day range. We knew a bear trap potentially after a big down move in the bond market. 131 buys are looking good. CCJ, we talked about this 20-day pullback. If you got it and you only had 1 day to do it, nice work. 23, closed at 27. That is a lovely move. VALE, again, why do we buy it? Look at the 200-day, all this confluence. We said, don't be surprised if it violates channel lows during OPEX. And guess what it did? It did it on Tuesday, and then it came right back. That's awesome, because think about it. It opened here. Actually, let's I guess you can't really see it on the monthly, but you can see the weekly. I mean, it just opened low, closed high. That is not bearish. All right, folks, talk to you later. Have a good one. Hit me up if you got.
Thanks for watching. For more trading knowledge and insight, click on the videos on the right, and also join the Discord room. Link is in the description below. If you have any questions, please stop on by the Discord room and let's chat. Thank you.